Hello everyone and welcome to lesson number 13. In this lesson we will talk about the input and output redirection. There are three default types on input and output, and in order to write them down we will open up the files, or I will do, you can do whatever you like. So, and now we will create a Vim file and I will name it lesson 13. You can just write them down into a paper or so. You don't need to create the same files. So there are three default types on input and output. The standard output, and we write it like that, standard in, and the file descriptor, the files that represent the open files, is the number 0. Then we have the standard input. This was an input, I'm sorry, input. Then we have the standard output, and we write it down like that, and the number is the 1. And we have the standard error. We write it down like that, and the number is the number 2. Let's save up our file also, and you see the file was created right here, so that we can make a small repetition in Vim. By default, standard in comes from the keyboard, so let's write it down like here. Comes from the keyboard. Everything that I type here is a standard input, and it is displayed on the screen. This display is a standard output. Display on the screen, display on the screen. And the error are the errors that occur. The errors that occur by any means. So Linux represents practically everything as a file. So in Linux, everything is represented as a file. This is really important to remember. This abstraction allows you to do some powerful things like take the standard out of a command that would normally be displayed to your screen and use it as the input to another command, or even redirect this output to a file. We will see many examples in our lesson today. So let's see further. We use the greater than sign to redirect output. So the greater than sign redirects standard output to a file. And really important is that it overrides any existing content. If we write twice the greater than sign, it means it redirects standard out to a file. Standard out, we said before what standard out is. Standard out is what should be displayed on the screen. And what it does, it adds to any existing contents. So it doesn't delete the previous content, it appends the new content to the previous content. And the less than sign redirects input from a file to a command. We will also see some examples. Then we have the ampersand symbol, the and symbol. So the ampersand symbol is used. Let's don't use this. Is used with redirection to signal that a file descriptor We talked about file descriptors above. This is the number no, 0, 1 and 2 that represent the standard input, output and error. So it's being used. For example, if we write this thing here, it means combine standard error, which is the number 2, and standard output, which is the number 1. If we write it like this here, it redirects the standard error to a file. There is also this here, the device dev null, which redirects to nowhere. You can imagine it, the null device is something that throws away whatever we give it. Think it like a trash bucket, that you throw something in there but you can't find it later on. So be sure if you want to throw something like that, something in there, you won't be able to retrieve it later on. For example, if you want to save the errors of a command to a file, you can redirect them to null. Let's do some practice now. I will save this file. I will open up a second terminal, and we can work with the second terminal here. I will make it a little smaller, like that. So let's do a list here, and we can see these things, the list that we have in our in the folder that we are in, the home and the username. And now we will redirect this output to a file. How can we do that? Like that, and then we will use the redirect, and then we will create a file text. And now you can see a file text was created. Let's open up, and you can see it is the same. So what we did is that we took the standard output, the thing that was displayed in our screen, and we redirected it to this file. And this file wasn't there before, so what we did is we created this file. If we go to the documents, we have something else. You can see it here. So let's go inside the documents. You can see that there is something else there. Let's do a list, and now let's redirect this list to our file here. As you can see, I redirect what I have here to this file text that I created before. Now let's go back and let's see what is there in this file text. And as you can see, I don't have my previous list anymore. I have the new one. So the old one, the old list is overwritten. If we want to append something, do you remember how we do it? Let's see. With these 2 signs instead of 1. And now what we do, because as you can see I'm here, I took this list, the list of the previous items, and I appended it to my file. So if I open up now my file, you can see that I have the previous, the files from the documents, and also the new one. So I added the new things into my previous list. Now let's do something else. I will create a file. Let's create a file. Unsorted list. And here, or we can do it like that with a terminal. we write echo te, for example, and we will add it to the unsorted list. Then we will do echo, say, then we will do echo A, then we will do echo C, for example, then we will do echo K, then we will do echo 8. So now, as you can see, our list is like that. It is an unsorted list. If you remember, if I put the if I write sort and then the unsorted list name, then my list will be sorted. Now let's do it like that. So what I say here, if you remember, so I redirect the input from a file to a command. The input from a file is what's in this file, and I redirected it. I do a redirection to a command. So it is exactly as I have written, for example, sort and this list. It is the same command, but I can also combine it with this. I can sort the list, and then I will create a new file named sorted list. And as you can see, I have here a sorted list. And let's see it. It begins with A, C, D, H, J, K. It is a sorted list. And if we want to see the second one, you can see here the sorted list and the unsorted list here. So it works. And also, I would like also to point that if we write that, it is the same as if we have written that. Because as we stated before, the one means, let's scroll up a little bit. The one means display on the screen. What is it on the screen displayed? Just wanted to point this out. So let's try to understand the redirections more. I will clear up my screen now. And now let's see. We have here the file, but we don't have here a file named not here, or not here. We don't have anything like that in this order, but we do have a file text, and you can see it because I give the order, and then I take something back displayed on the screen from the terminal because I list it. So if I press that command, so I want to list the file text and the not here file. So if I press enter, in return I see an error because I don't have the a not here file, and then I take the standard output from the command, the file text. How can we use the commands that we learned to manipulate these two outputs? For example, first we can take the whole output and put it into a file out. If I do that, you see that I only take the error. The output, this output, is not there anymore. Do you know where this output is? The output is here, as you can see. I have added it in the file that I created. Let's now redirect the error, the standard error, to another file. How can I do that? Here I will add the number 2 and I will add it to the out point error. As you can see, as standard output I take this file text, but I don't see any error. Do you know where the error is? The error is here, to our out error. As you can see, I have redirected the error, so I don't get in my screen any errors anymore because they are redirected in the file that I pointed out. Let's now put the standard error to a place and the standard out to another. So we have our command here, and then we can do the following. We can say that I want the standard out into this file. Let's name it new, and I want the error in another R2 file, new. If I do that, I don't take anything back. Do you know why? Because my standard out is here, into the out new, and my error is inside the out R new. So I redirected it, both of them, and that's why I don't take anything back. To combine them in one command, we could also do it this way, here, and then you can create a new file, out both of them, for example, and then use this little command that we learned before with ampersand. Oh, ampersand. Here. So, if we do the cut out both, you can see that we have both of our commands there. And let's see it also with the graphical interface here. So we did two things with one command. If I don't want to save my errors, for example, somewhere, but I want to throw them away, I can use the null device as we stated before. Then, for example, I can go here. I will say I want the errors redirected in the device null, and then I take only the normal output and the error is being thrown away. Or I can also send the standard output, and as you can see, in return I take only the error and the standard output is not there. Or I can also say both of them. And how we do it is we go back here and we say redirect to the device null what? Both of them, like that. And as you can see, I take nothing in return because both of the standard output and the standard error are being redirected to the null device. So that was it for today. I think that yes, it is a little bit complicated. You need a lot of practice to be able to understand it, but once you do, you will be able to manipulate your command line a lot easier. And as you can imagine, you become a powerful user only if you know such commands. If you have any questions, let me know under the comments below, and thank you all for watching.